Freeman.
Yeah.
Him and Freeman. Phil, we've had you on before. We saw you here today. We had to bring you on again. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. It's glad to be here. I mean, it's a great event. I mean, just seeing the history and the cool things that are happening around the weapons school and the Air Force and you know, seeing the chief staff here.
Right.
It's kind of cool. I mean, it just, dude, it's a big deal.
Oh yeah.
And so I don't know how people realize that or not, but this is a big deal.
When you just look at a room and you see the entire history of modern warfare sitting in that room, but the people that prosecuted it, the people that dropped the bombs, that flew those missions, the people that planned those large campaigns, to see them all in one room, you're like, oh, well, here's like, you know, the basis of our military power now and in the future. Like, it is a humbling thing, you know, to see the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, an Air Force guy, talk at this graduate or at the anniversary. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just absolutely ridiculous.
No, I'm totally with you. And one cool thing, I got to speak with General Jumper on the way out. And
oh, wow.
And so, you know, a lot of people know this. Some people do, some people don't. But when Yosh got fratted and he was in the hospital, you know, the story goes, and I can't quote exactly what was said, but it was General Jumper said to him, "Hey, what can we do for you?" And he was like, "Just don't let this happen again."
Yeah.
And the forethought of that while he's injured is amazing, because where we are today with digital targeting, you know, with all the equipment we have and the way that these JTACs and, you know, are applying air power with their ATACs and stuff. I mean, that was the birth of that, you know, and now, you know, unfortunately, you know, Yosh is gone from us now,
right.
You know, but his legacy will live on. And it was spoken here. You know, it was spoken here. And another cool part of this is, you know, it being a soft guy, one of the coolest stories tonight was the pickup from the 117 shoot down.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pararescuemen and combat controllers on that thing. And I mean, and a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so cool.
I did have one critique tonight. You know, the story stopped just short. Just when it was getting good and we were going to get the guy, we stopped talking about it. Like, hey, wait a second. Those helicopters, they had some dudes on there. I believe.
Yeah. So, you know, I didn't want to embarrass myself or the people I was with, so I didn't want to get up and like rant and rave.
Sure. I did the same thing in the back of the room.
Decent story. I thought it was cool because I know the story, and you know, it goes untold. It's an unsung story now.
Right.
And you know, and really, I guess unfortunately it's an unsung story because of all the stories after that. I mean, there's just so many. Back then there were so few.
Right.
So
right. Yeah.
Now there's many, but that's a big deal still.
Right. When I grew up as a young PJ, I showed up to England as my first assignment at the STS. So, I mean, it wasn't super early on. So it was 2008. But, you know, at that time, my team sergeant was a guy that did the Eastern European mission. Like, that's what they did. They flew around and looked for war criminals. And, you know, that stuff was a big deal. Like Chief Robbie Bean was one of those guys that went out on the 53.
Yeah.
And, you know, his story is crazy. And I was lucky enough to work for him not once, but twice in my career. Yeah. And he's an awesome dude. I love
Robbie Bean.
I love Robbie.
So I was at Mildenhall with Robbie as well.
Yeah.
And great operator. I mean, great family man, just a great dude all around.
Yeah.
But what I like most about him is I played rugby over there and we would do tours to Ireland. And our second tour, we called it the Cock and Balls Tour. And he actually drew a rugby rooster with his foot on a rugby ball and another one in his hand or arm like he was running with it. So Robbie Bean is an amazing artist and an operator.
Yeah.
So,
oh man,
that's my Robbie Bean story.
Oh man, I love him to death. So he was an instructor of mine when I went through, PJU, and our team was terrible. We just got the absolute living dog shit smoked out of us at Florida one time, right? And he was an instructor, and he was livid with us because rightfully so. We were a bunch of idiots. Anyway, so I was an instructor. I think it was like the flight chief, the instructor flight chief at Kirtland or something. And a team screws up. We're just smoking the dog shit out of him. He's the chief. And he comes up and he's sitting there. He's looking out and he's like, man, I remember this one time. And it was Chief Bean. So he's like, man, I remember this one time we smoked a team. We just absolutely smoked the dog shit. And he goes, oh, that was you, wasn't it, Aaron? And I was like, it was. And I was like, I'm having PTSD right now. You can't be out here. And he was like, oh, man. He was like, that one was legendary. We made you guys carry the boats across the ocean.
Yeah.
But it was hilarious, man. Like, he was that type of dude, too, that would just, fly off the hand. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So, just blessed to be, around some of these type of guys, just in my career,
What were some other mentors you had back when you were growing up?
Well, when I came in, it was when I got into the, John Horvath was a combat control instructor, and Mouse Thomas, that was another man that really was instrumental in my career. I mean, I should not have. They were, if there was their grace that got me through and their efforts.
Yeah.
But and after that, John Thompson and Gordy Tully, and then I went to Germany, and it was Jeff Hitchcock and Randy Blythe and some other older combat controllers, and then we started working with the pararescue guys out in Woodbridge. So Emilio Hasso and a bunch of those dudes. There's a guy named Mike Ziegler I was really good friends with, and we used to laugh and have a good time, and just it was cool jumping in up in the North Atlantic with those dudes, doing the Rams packages. That was where I got my Rams training. Everybody else is going to Bermuda and Hawaii. We did all
slow stop.
Dude, it was great, but it still was a good time.
Yeah.
But and then I got out. I came back in, and
how long was your break in service?
2 years. 2 years. And yeah. So
when I go to school or something?
Yeah, I went to school,
okay.
But I missed it and whatnot. And,
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. I wanted to come back in and play music in Europe, and I used this as a way to get in. And I don't want to, that's just a way, people don't want to hear that on that. I want to,
neither
it's
here
a
nor
workout
there.
channel, not
Right.
a donut eater channel. So that's me. So anywho, I came back in, but 2, 3 SDS, there was, a bunch of solid dudes, but the commander, Jeff Buckmelter, was amazing. And, much of Kurt Buller. I mean, just some guys that just
legends. Yeah.
Just legends. Then I just got to be around, and it was hard to measure up. And I got to England, and Blake George was a guy that was hard to compete with. And then Scotty Guerin was my boss for the longest time. And I would tell you what, one of the best guys you want to work for.
Sure.
I mean, because he would give you all the latitude in the world and support you. And that's how I grew. When you're kind of confined, it's hard to grow. He fostered growth. So that was really cool. So, and then after that, I was back in McCord, and, anyway, so Terry Mackey, the commander, there's things that's how this whole weapon school thing started from 4ST was Terry Mackey and me coming down here to train with A-10s. And then there's a general now, but major at the time, Malachowski, at the A-10 weapon school. It was the A-10 division at the time. We had created this relationship because they play football together, and we were like, hey, we want to train. And here we are, 23 years later, and Peaches is the chief of the weapons.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, ain't that something?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a dream come true. So a lot of no's, a lot of getting told no, and a lot of fighting, a lot of arguing, a lot of trying to prove yourself. And I'll tell you, there's so many dudes that came from all the units, the tag team units and the ST units that came here. When they brought their A game, you couldn't deny it. You couldn't speak nothing less, but look, they're busting their ass. They want to learn, get advanced tactics. So that's how this got off the ground, because we had some foul ups as well. But that's how this got off the ground, was all the studs that were working and busting their ass to do mutual support with the weapons school. And now we got the chief of the weapons school sitting right over there. If you could see him, he's hiding behind the table.
I know. Yeah. Stand up. I am. Yeah. What was the first win that you got, like in the process where things started, the tide started to turn, where you knew that the weapons school position was going to finalize? Because you mentioned how long it took to, a lot of no's and a lot of proving yourself.
Yeah.
When was the time like, okay, hold on, this might be a thing, and it ended up being like the progression to the C?
Well, 2000, we were talking about this before 2006, and we really didn't care. And it was a lot of great TAC Ps, and mostly really actually TAC Ps like Matt Schleich and Jazz Erickson and a couple others that, right now I'm brain farting. But if I think I'm going to spit it out like I got Tourette's. But, we didn't really care about the patch. We just wanted education, because we are leading out there on the battlefield. I mean, there's nobody you could talk to and touch that's a patch that has education. So nobody really cared about that. But as it started getting some momentum and some growth, then you got Trash Man Hicks that came in, and he was the commander of the A-10 Squadron 66. And he started some growth with it. And then LD Card came in and really, he championed it for a long time and pushed it, because we were getting told no and this and that, and it was a salesman game. And then after that, there was Johnny Bravo Drowley, who's now doing great things, and that guy is the dude who hit it out of the park. So he got it to the advanced weapons school and advanced instructor course, and then when he came back as the commandant, that's when it kicked into the actual WIC. So that's kind of really great things. And I might have my dates off, this and that, but these are the guys that really fostered it. But now there are other MDSs out there, and I'm talking about A10s and ST and TACP right now, but other MDSs out there that really were behind it. Like Texco was a commandant at one point, and Shark Garland was a commandant at one point. These guys could have easily just stopped it, and they didn't. They fostered it, like Grass Gingras, and I mean, there's just so many people. You know, I think I said Frag Job earlier, but just so many guys that just help get this thing going in the right direction, quietly and publicly. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is at this point. I mean, it's a done deal, and it's moving, and it's providing, doing great things.
Yeah.
But that's just, a little bit of the cliff notes of the story.
Where did the motivation to work for, how long have you been working in the same career field now? 700 years? Like, how old are you?
Well, I mean, I'm 57.
You don't look a day over 65.
Don't be doxing me on the internet here, but we'll cut that in and out. But no, I'll be honest with you. I got my first eval here in Nellis in '96 under Tim Tennant when I was at Mildenhall. We came back from Mildenhall. I mean, it's kind of ironic that I was promoted to staff sergeant the day I sewed it on. I was at Nellis, and then I was down here again the day I sewed tech on, and that was when we were getting ready to go to Iraq. And I sewed it on the day we were in a NASCAR. Mr. G had us in the suite for a NASCAR race. I mean, that was a great sew. And then we go off to Iraq, and then when I came out and was stationed here, I sewed on master. So I actually live a lot of promotions here. I'll say a lot. That's 3 that I got or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. So,
yeah.
But anywho, I mean, it was but I didn't really give a shit about that language or not, but I cared about the people we're working with. Cause these dudes they're good dudes, and they're our kind of dudes.
Right.
Because the kind of dudes that you are and the kind of dudes that we work with, it's a competition. It's you never just go for a run. It's always a race. You never just swim. It's always a race. It's always who can do more of this and that. And I think that is the same mentality here. And I think that's why it meshes so well together.
Right.
All right.
I think so. I made the statement earlier. Like, I don't know who all of these people are, but you know what? I know a lot of people in this room. Like, you talk to them for 2 seconds and you're like, wait a second. You fall into the same speech, but you're like, okay, we are speaking the same language.
Right.
You might be a pilot, I might be a ground guy, but man, we're talking about the same thing right now. We both want the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You can recognize it in somebody else really easily.
Exactly.
So is it the people that kept you in the entire time? Like, or that kept you going forward?
Yeah,
I
mean, look, I enjoyed what I did. I enjoyed training the guys. I enjoyed, being behind the scenes. And the successes I had were because of other people. I'm just on people's shoulders and Giants' shoulders. I mean, and like Ray Bollinger or Donnie Nickel. I mean, I could go on and on and on. But, but I just, being around this type of people, I forgot exactly what you're trying to say. But it just brings it around that this same type of people that, I mean, that's who I talk to today.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm retired, I'm still working in the community, but my social fun, groups are these dudes, and a few of our dudes, and NASCAR driver from a local area here. I mean, that's my social fun.
Yeah.
So my work and fun just ties it all in together.
It's a beautiful thing, baby.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I got to get moving. My folks just walked out.
Pimp, you go get them.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Hey, look, thanks for what you're doing.
So
yeah,
much.
yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if this will get online.
You're good, brother.
Please edit.
All right then.
See you, buddy.
Thanks. See you next time, folks.